momento. Lo principal fue que él había sido líder, no acá en Uruguay nunca lo hizo, ¿no? Pero sí en varios destinos había sido líder de una secta, ¿no? Llamada Oasis de Luz. Era buscado por Interpol por varias denuncias de abuso sexual, con menores y demás. Y Desayunos Informales, Martín Tócar, un compañero de la producción, habló con una de las víctimas, que acá estamos viendo cómo se pronuncia, Catherine Meredith.
Catarine.
Catherine.
Sí, con tilde en la primera A se pronunciaría, pero y la E y la TH como una T. Es difícil, pero es Catarine, algo así.
Catherine Meredith, exacto, que es quien vemos en imágenes, que ella tiene un blog donde algunas cosas ya narró y donde tomamos algunas de sus declaraciones la semana pasada cuando saltó la noticia. Ella ingresó al grupo con sus padres y su hermano cuando solamente tenía 10 años.
Vean, consultada sobre cómo le cayó, porque en realidad además se enteró por un periodista del diario El País sobre la muerte de Arno Wollensak, le respondió esto a nuestro compañero.
It was a big shock at first, but in a way it ends that chapter of my life. It's been a rough few days just thinking a lot about him and about the past, and I think that despite everything that he did, that was a very violent death, and I'm not a favor of violence, and so that is not something I would have wanted for him or anybody. It's not justice. I would have rather seen him in jail. It was very unsettling. I don't know anybody that has been murdered, and just the way that he died was so brutal that it's hard to process. It leaves a lot of questions open. So it's not like a clean ending. It just opens up a whole lot more questions, and I don't know if we'll ever know. I am relieved, I have to say, just because I know he will not come back to Europe, and he will not... He can't get to my mother anymore, and he cannot hurt more people. So in that sense, I'm relieved, yeah.
A partir de su experiencia en Oasis de Luz, en esta secta de Arno Wollensak, Catherine escribió mucho sobre sectas, ¿no? Tiene incluso hasta un blog al respecto. Y lo que más escribió, o que nos cuenta ahora, es de las reglas colectivas que la suelen regir.
In a cult, there is usually a leader that is narcissistic and a leader that has to have control. Often they're a psychopath, a sociopath. What makes it abusive is that the leader decides that only his or her view of the world is real, that only his or her interest is important, and what they say is the law. Each individual person has to then give up something of theirs, their own views, their own rights, or their relationships with other people, their friends, their family, often their money. They have to give themselves up and devote all their time and their energy to the leader. Basically, that person, the cult leader, abuses their curiosity. So if you're a curious person, you go to a seminar, you want to learn something, and if you end up in the wrong seminar with the wrong person, that person can make you dependent on their knowledge. They say, oh, I have more knowledge, I have more secret knowledge. If you want that secret knowledge, you have to come meet me again and again and again. And every time it costs money or time, the person feels special. They're like, I am chosen. So you don't realize that you're often being lied to, and it's a very slow process.
Es un proceso que solamente, aparte, es muy largo, ¿no? Son muchos años lo que cuenta Catherine. Y esto abre la pregunta de si Wollensak era un líder positivo que se fue corrompiendo, ¿no? O pudriendo por adentro por un tema de poder, de influencias, o si el rol de gurú desde un principio fue una máscara para otro tipo de hechos delictivos, ¿no? Y eso, preguntado, es lo que responde Catherine en el siguiente audio.
I believe in his case, he planned this very well. He definitely started the cult that I was in that's called Light Oasis sometimes. He started that knowingly. He knew what he was doing. He had learned from his time in India, and he convinced Jolie that she was a medium, and he did the Ramtha seminars to make money. So for him it was very much about money and power from the beginning.
Son tremendos las declaraciones de esta chica, ¿no? En cuanto a que los años les llevó a todos darse cuenta de lo abusivo que era el funcionamiento de la secta, cómo les iban manipulando y comiendo un poco del bocho, ¿no? Con el paso del tiempo. Es más, al principio ella dice que hay un enamoramiento, ¿no? Que no deja ver el engaño y la situación real. Le preguntamos a Caterina en qué momento empezó a ser consciente de los abusos y esto nos decía.
For the first few years, a lot of people at least really thought that he was special. And I think at first people really thought that he had a lot of power because he was very good at figuring out what people wanted and needed and also what made them very afraid. Possibly the first doubts came when he chose a 13-year-old girl to be his girlfriend. And he was very, very convincing, saying that she was an old soul, that she wanted this, that it was for her spiritual good. He just manipulated her too. But people were starting to doubt him. But still, he had a lot of power and it took years. For me, it was not until, I'd say, the last 2 years before the cult broke apart, the last 2 or 3 years, that I really started to think maybe he's not perfect. Before that, I was convinced that Arno was perfect. He was similar to God. So I did not realize that it was wrong. I realized that I was uncomfortable with it, that it seemed strange to me, but he had changed everything that means right and wrong. He said that how the world views right and wrong is not correct, it's limited, and that he has a better understanding of what right and wrong is. And when it happened to me at 15, I did not understand that it was a crime. I just understood that I was very, very uncomfortable with it, that I would have not chosen this, but he told me that my soul did choose it, so I felt trapped. But when Leah pressed charges later on, and that's when I was absolutely behind her, I was very happy she pressed charges with the police, because at that point I realized that I had been abused. I realized that I couldn't say no because of the situation, because I couldn't leave. I didn't have anywhere else to go.
Bien, es increíble lo que ella decía, ¿no? Que lo veían como un dios, que era perfecto, y también lo que él les vendía, ese mundo, era el que estaba bien, y no se había dado cuenta ni siquiera que eso era un crimen.
Claro, te cambia todos los márgenes.
Claro, si eso le pasaba a los adultos, imagínense una niña que fue criada ahí, ¿no?
Claro, aparte con la madre que no solamente no cambió, sino que después la dejó a ella para venirse a
siguió con él a otros países
Central,
y terminó en
vino
Uruguay con él.
Era una de las dos mujeres, aparte de la esposa, que era la medium, ¿no? De Arno Wollensak, que vinieron a vivir a Uruguay. Y la madre de Caterine, que estuvo con ella...
Perdón, las dos
sí.
eran las dos que vinieron, además de su esposa. Uno era la mamá de ella y la otra es la mamá de la otra chica abusada, que es la que ella se refiere. Claro, de Lea, que hizo la denuncia, escribió el libro. Exacto.
Bueno, la madre de Caterina vino a Uruguay y recién el año pasado, en octubre, cuando Wollensak estuvo preso, ¿no? Por lo de entrar al país sin documentos reales, ahí fue que ella pudo escapar, aprovechando esos meses que estuvo en prisión. Sobre el reencuentro con su madre, la culpa y el perdón que compartieron, esto nos contaba.
I was very happy when my mother came back to Europe last year. I had hoped that she would be able to break away from Arne once he was in prison. I mostly wanted my mother out of it, and I wanted to have a chance at least to have a relationship with her. And I was also very nervous because I didn't really know her. I was 10 years old the last time that she was a mother to me. I saw her for the next 10 years until I was 20, but she acted very strange. She acted like a stranger, and I probably changed too in the cult. So we did not have a close relationship. Sometimes we did not talk more than a few sentences a year. And I knew it would be a lot of work to build up a relationship again after all that had happened. But I knew I wanted that, and it was more important to me to have a relationship with my mother again than it was to push her away or be mad at her. I accepted that in order to have a relationship, I would have to let a lot of the past go.
Increíble las declaraciones
10 años.
De una de las víctimas de Arno Wollensak a la producción de Desayunos Informales en una entrevista que se realizó en estos días. Y bueno, ella de todas formas le costó. Si bien habla del tema y ha dado algunas declaraciones, todavía le cuesta hablar de este tema.
Ha hablado
¿no?
muy poco, sí, efectivamente. Qué capacidad, ¿no? Después de atravesar por todo eso, de hablar así como habla de la madre, de esa capacidad de perdonar, la capacidad de resiliencia, ¿no? En cuanto a hablar del
mucha
asesinato,
terapia
en los
también,
términos que habló y lo plantea así, sí, más allá de la terapia, pero
Para
como de estas
asumir.
situaciones extremas,
Todos los trastornos
inhumanas,
que generan.
claro, a veces surgen personas como ella, ¿no? Con esa capacidad de reflexión y esa profundidad, como pasaba en los campos de concentración, por ejemplo,
Sí,
¿no? A pesar
tal cual.
de todas las dificultades, ¿no?
Bien, vamos ahora a repasar los principales títulos.